Hello, fellow Zelda fans. Welcome to our podcast on Twilight Princess. You're listening to Zelda Pot Smashers. So, I'm here with Frank.
Hey.
Martin.
Hello.
And a guest appearance, Maximus from Australia.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
Yeah, good.
Nice to have you here. So, recently Twilight Princess has been getting a lot of love. For example, last year it was voted the third best Zelda game on the ZeldaUniverse forums. So we figured it was time to talk about it. Did you guys play it on the GameCube or on the Wii?
Both.
I played it on both as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was only playing on the Wii.
Yeah. The first time I played it was on the Wii, and now I played it on the GameCube.
Did it confuse you? Because, I really got used to the GameCube version. I started with the GameCube version, played it twice. And when I got into the Wii version, it's completely mirrored, as opposed to the GameCube version. It completely confused me, oh my god, it's what's left is right, and what's east is west, and it's very...
What's the problem for me? I think it was too long ago, the Twilight version. Twilight version, the Wii version. Actually, I tried to run the game in the Dolphin emulator with HD textures, but my CPU wasn't strong enough, so I just decided to go for the GameCube version. So this game was hyped up as the true sequel to Ocarina of Time. It's supposed to be epic and dark. What do you guys think of the atmosphere? Max?
Well, yeah, it was almost overwhelmingly dark, really. I sort of think it was a little bit sort of forced. It didn't feel natural, like, for instance, Majora's Mask, which I believe pulled it off really well. It just, everything was dark. And it was too much.
Yeah, it seemed a bit forced, I think.
Yeah, I agree with you. The colors was dark, while in Majora's Mask was a bit more, colorful, and the story was just dark, not the game itself. The story in Twilight Princess, everything is dark.
Yeah,
it's like a very modern, this gritty style, like Gears of War. Many games have a similar style, and it just basically went in the same direction.
Yeah, true.
Doesn't
Everything
look as
is
original as other Zelda games, like Wind Waker has a very original style, or Skyward Sword.
Yeah.
But this one is like every other modern game, basically, it's the same style.
And that's
Just brown tones everywhere.
Yeah, I really miss the happy parts here. To me, it didn't really feel like a Zelda game because Zelda's also supposed to be, happy and careless. I guess carefree is the term.
Yeah.
Here, even the most colorful guys are depressing. Like the clowns. When I see those clowns, I think, wow, you didn't commit suicide yet?
Yeah. I was even sad going up, taking one of those cuckoos, just knowing I had to talk with that poor fella.
Yeah. And humor, the game does have some humor, but I don't know. It's not so much. It's like they were trying to be serious this time.
But
epic.
Do you have so many happy characters in other Zelda games? Like, if you look at Majora's Mask, you still get many depressed characters, which are like, oh my god.
Ocarina of Time. I think in Majora's Mask, the happy sales guy just makes up for the happy mask, whatever.
Yeah, he's so happy, yeah.
Yeah, he makes enough
the happiest guy in the world.
Scary, really. But yeah, I do have to say that, actually, what do you think of the graphical design and maybe the graphics?
Well, I mean, I didn't really have a problem with the graphics, and certainly the landscapes of this game I thought were brilliant, really dramatic, really sort of pretty to look at. So I had no complaints there. I thought it was fantastic.
I agree. In some parts, you actually get frame lag because of because of how big the areas are. That's pretty cool, actually. I think they pushed the hardware to the limits.
Yeah, I remember the first time I plugged in the game and played that. I thought it was beautiful back then. Of course, now you have higher standards, but back then it was a great game. And I still think it was nice to look at. Even this time, I couldn't really complain about the graphics.
Yeah, I think it might still be the prettiest Zelda game. Because Skyward Sword went for this other graphical style.
Yeah.
It's the most realistic looking. probably.
Yeah.
I like the rustic design, like the medieval looking and everything is, yeah. I like it's not so unfitting with the dark style, with like running around with a lantern for the dark. And
it does have its charms, but I think for the whole game it's a bit too much. But anyway, something that we talked about before about this game, the flow. Like in the beginning, how long does it take to get to the first dungeon?
Well, I think I finished the first. Yeah, it is 3 hours, or it's 3 hours.
Really? Oh man.
At least 3 hours for me.
4 hours, and then you're done with the first dungeon, for me at least. But okay, I think it was 3 hours to get there, and just too long for me. At least for me, I thought it was quite boring, the whole introduction.
Yeah, me too.
There are other Zelda games which you can beat in the same time.
Yeah,
that's.
Although just on that, the slow pace at the start of the game, admittedly I don't actually mind it. For the very first section of the game, I don't think it's such a problem that it's so linear, but you sort of don't want it too cutscene heavy and too story heavy right at the start. I think a lot of people just want to start playing.
I think the problem was, in the first time I played the game, I thought it was great because of probably nostalgic reasons. I thought, okay, I'm gonna get to the good stuff soon, but this time I played it, I think I kind of paused it, not paused, but turned off and continued another day 3 or 4 times in the beginning because it was so boring.
Yeah, I had that problem. The first time I played it, I thought it was so epic, and wow, I was really immersed in the whole world, I think.
Yeah.
But this time I was thinking, oh, come on, more story. I just want to explore.
Well, for me it was like, the first 3 dungeons took me probably 2 or 3 weeks, on and off. And after I got the Master Sword, I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this in the next week because now it's fun. Now it's great. The game is just perfect.
Yeah,
but it's like, probably I think Max made a good point here, like the people just want to start playing.
Yeah.
And as opposed to the linear part of the game is not really Zelda style. And for me, it's like when I first played this game and beat the final dungeon, I was like, my reaction was like, that's it. Because even though it was a very long game, probably this is the longest Zelda game up to date, and I felt like that's it because it never really felt like it started playing. It always kept being linear. It's like one long linear game, and it's like I'm playing one big tutorial basically, and never really get into the real game, except for the part where you get the Master Sword and can teleport around. Then you do lots and lots of side quests at once, and then it starts being linear again.
Yeah.
So it's really it lacks this openness, exploration of other Zelda games, which is really important to me, which is why I think the Twilight Princess is one of the lesser Zelda games.
Yeah. I remember the first time you walk into Hyrule Field in Ocarina of Time.
Yeah, it's a good comparison.
Wow.
And then, like in Ocarina of Time, you have this openness and the freedom. You can go pretty much anywhere.
But
only a few limits, like but you can go to Kakariko and the farm and to Lake Hylia, do some fishing. You don't have to go to the castle and and progress in the story. In Twilight Princess, it's all linear. You only have one way to go through, and it's just like this very small area, and then you go to the next small area, and then you go to Kakariko and do this is these Twilight Realms again, which is a good point. What do you guys think about the Twilight Realms tier collecting?
Yeah, to add to that point as to the world opening up too slowly. Not only does it open up slowly, but when you finally do get access to these new areas, they're covered in Twilight, and that really sort of ruins their introduction for me. I mean, when you first walk into an area, you want the music and, you want to look at these beautiful kind of landscapes. You don't want to look at these dark kind of...
It's like the opposite to other Zelda games where you like an Ocarina of Time with Skyward Sword, you get introduced to the area like it would normally be, and then later on you get a darker version like the Silent Realms or like the destroyed areas in Ocarina of Time.
Yeah,
here it's the opposite. You explore the dark Twilight Realms, and it's not as much fun as exploring a more beautiful area.
Right.
And what I also noticed is that most of the story happens in the beginning of the game. and then at maybe 2/3 of the game there's hardly any story. It's just becoming a dungeon crawl.
Yeah, that's true. Go to the bar.
If there's still lots of story, I think maybe even too much. Like with Elia and all the, if you count this as
Yeah.
story, with the quests.
Yeah, true, but still it's not spread out very well, I think. But oh well.
Yeah.
Did you collect the post, by the way?
I collected 20 of them, got the flask, and then I bought another 40 for rupees I don't need anymore. No way.
Max, you got the pose, or?
Well, I got 20 of them, but I mean, not only is, as Martin said, was the prize a bit kind of useless for getting all 60, but I mean, that was sort of too steep a climb. Like, if you compare it to, say, Ocarina of Time, where every 10 Skulltulas will get you some sort of prize, you don't want to jump from 20 to 60. I mean, that's too much. So you're not going to be motivated.
No, they make it worthwhile in
So I think that was a
in
problem.
Ocarina of Time.
My only motivation here is getting 100%. But even now, I still need 9 of them, and I have no idea where to find. So I guess I'll need a guide eventually. Don't like it, but so well.
Yeah.
But it also didn't help that you can only start hunting them once you can transform into a wolf. And you can only find them during the night.
And you can, what the problem is, you can change the day and night cycle.
Yeah.
Like in other Zelda games, like in Ocarina of Time, you can only find the Skulltulas at night. But you can always play the song, or what's the Song of the Sun. But you don't have anything like it. You have to wait 10 minutes until it gets dark again, or that's really annoying.
While talking about functionalities like that, that's calling upon it. You have to find a piece of grass, and they're not so rich in the overworld to find, so that's quite hard. But just before you finish the game, at 80% in or something like that, you get a tool to call upon it. That's one of the big complaints. Like, they're just trolling with you. Why didn't they give it from the beginning?
Yeah.
Let us call upon and let us ride on her if we want. Oh, that sounds wrong. But
this game is really lacking an instrument, like in the previous games. We had the Ocarina or the Tact of Wind, which would have all these functions combined, like calling your horse, or changing the time of day.
Yeah.
This game doesn't have it. So, talking about the story, what do you think about it? Because, well, yesterday I was talking to Max, and I asked him, "What do you think of the characters?" And Max, what did you say?
Oh, there really is only one character worth mentioning.
Yeah.
I mean, there's only one character that really gets developed properly.
Midna.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I liked the story with Midna. I thought that was very good. But I don't know about the whole story about the Twilight King, Sand. And that it's basically Ganondorf just controlling him. I thought Sand until that point was just a great villain, and I didn't hope for Ganondorf to enter the story.
Yeah, that was the issue. We were discussing yesterday that perhaps Zelda and Ganon really didn't need to be in this game at all.
Yep.
I mean, the story with Midna and Zant was so strong to that point that it just seemed unnecessary, and well, I didn't enjoy the introduction of Zelda and Ganon to the story at all, really.
No, it's like it was pushed in there, or something they had to put in the game because they wasn't really in the game. Zelda was in the beginning, and Ganondorf was in the end, and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there any possibility that maybe they started this out as a side story without Zelda and Ganon, like Majora's Mask and Link's Awakening, and they decided to add them later?
I don't know. I have no clue.
Frank, you never heard anything about that, I guess?
I'm thinking, but I'm not sure right now how this story got developed. I only remember how Midna got developed. Because originally they were going only to have the wolf. And then Miyamoto suggested, hey, something should ride on the wolf, because only looking at the one wolf looks boring. So this is why we invented Midna, which is quite interesting.
Yeah.
So it might be that we planned to have Zelda and Ganondorf like usual, but then we added Midna for the wolf and made this big Midna story. It's like Zelda and Ganondorf just remained in the game because we had them, I don't know. But like Max pointed out, they were completely unnecessary.
Yeah. It
The
wouldn't
game
surprise
without-
me to learn that the last dungeon, like Hyrule Castle, and the Ganondorf fight, that it was tacked on at the last moment. Because if you think about it, the Twilight Realm, the Palace of Twilight, that's where you fight Sand. And it could have been the last dungeon, I think.
Yeah.
Well, especially because you have to go into the Twilight realm itself. So, like, through that mirror thing.
Yeah.
It seemed like a finale.
Yeah.
But then, no, back off to Hyrule Castle.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a bit of an anticlimax, I guess. Oh well. Any other characters or story elements that you liked?
Liked? No, but I can point out what I didn't like. Like Ilia, I never...
Oh, you didn't like her?
No, completely not. Because it's like, you're supposed to have feelings for her. I don't know, like she's your childhood friend, but she gets introduced like early in the game and she's like a bitch.
Yeah.
I don't know. So I never really liked her and I didn't really care about her. But the game constantly told you have to care about Ilia. You want to rescue Ilia, and I'm like, no, I don't want to. I don't care about her. And this is why I don't like the character. And like, yeah, and she could have given you as a horse thing earlier, as a horse call.
Yeah.
Hold a grudge against her for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of liked Ilia, but I do agree that the bond with her wasn't developed as well as, for example, Zelda in Skyward Sword.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did care about her. I did think she was a nice character. Same with Colin, by the way.
Yeah, I like Colin, though.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty
The
cool.
problem with Ilia was that she forgot about you and then he's like, hey, who are you? I don't care about you.
She was also
Yeah, but-
gone in a big part of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think her losing her memory was touching.
No,
No.
I thought it was annoying.
Yeah. She's a weak woman.
Yeah, well, maybe it doesn't belong in a Zelda game,
Yeah.
but I thought it was pretty nice. Oh well.
Midna was my favorite character, besides Link, of course.
I agree.
Yeah, I didn't really care about Zelda at all.
No.
She looks pretty.
Yeah, it's a great design wasted on her.
Yeah. But at least we get to
Yeah,
use
she
get to
get
see her
to-
in Smash Bros.
Yeah. Just
Yeah.
wanted to say that.
Oh, yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. But I do. I beat the game today, this afternoon,
Yeah.
and at the end you're like, at first you think maybe Zelda's dead, whatever, blah blah blah. You're supposed to care about her, and then at one point, Link runs to Midna, and that's where I felt like, oh yeah, Midna is the real hero here,
Yeah.
and I don't care about Zelda at all,
No.
which is a bit of a shame. So a big element of the story is Link changing into a wolf. What did you think about that, Martin?
I didn't like it too much. Well, yeah, in some ways, but the wolf was basically just to go into an area and find all
Yeah.
the tears, clear it from the twilight, and then that's it. There was one temple with the wolf, which worked really great in my opinion, in the Arbiter's Ground.
Oh yeah,
But
where
that was
you
pretty
have to-
cool integrated. But besides that, there's not a lot to do with the wolf really, except for clearing those dark portals, whatever. But those just feels like a puzzle. The
Mm.
only one with a bit of action is the first one, until Midna says, "Hey, you want to see something?"
Oh, you mean with the shadow beasts that you have to
Yeah,
defeat?
yeah, exactly.
It was a bit boring each time.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm not a big fan of the wolf the way it was made, but it could have been greater. It could have been something very nice, but it just didn't pull it off.
Max, did you play as the wolf a lot?
Well, not particularly. I found like it was good variety to be able to play as a wolf. It changes it up, but the combat with the wolf, which was a major part of its sort of mechanics, I suppose, was just very sort of boring and monotonous. The way you just lunged at every enemy the same without any real kind of strategy.
Yeah, that's true.
I wasn't particularly impressed with that.
And I also think the wolf itself is pretty much without personality. I mean, Link has all these facial expressions, but the wolf is just like, he has two different looks maybe.
Come on, he can like grrr people.
Oh yeah,
He looks badass when he does that.
yeah. It's actually
Like,
cool
don't
to
mess
run
with
around.
me, bro.
It's nice to run around and scare people as a wolf, I guess.
But no, there's just not enough as the wolf. I think the whole game there's not enough to do really.
Yeah, and
be
it's not
honest.
much fun to play as a wolf. I think most people prefer to play as Link, which
But
is why the game keeps forcing you into the wolf form. It's actually interesting. Like you need the Twilight realms to actually have you play as a wolf,
Maybe.
or like this Twilight dark stuff which transform you into wolf, because otherwise you wouldn't play as a wolf.
No, that's true. But maybe just to run over the vast overworld. Maybe.
Yeah,
it's
to
just
teleport,
that.
but
Yeah.
Until I get the champ familiar, which I should have been getting in the beginning.
if you
Yeah.
compare it to Majora's Mask, basically, like you have like many different transformations, like the Goron Link, Sora Link, and Deku Link.
But you use them.
Yeah, and it's more fun. It's more interesting. It's more fun to use, and you
Yes,
have
it's more
multiple
mechanics.
transformation. In this game, you only have one thing you can transform into a wolf. So it's overall a big letdown.
But like Max said, there's basically just attacking with the wolf or dashing, and there's just the one attack where you jump up and bite them, or if it's a bigger monster, you can hang on to them and you can bite again.
And for sensing, I think this is a sense feature, like.
But for what?
Oh yeah.
But there's nothing to sense.
Like
really.
the hidden grottos, basically, maybe.
Yeah, but that's all.
Yeah, I'm not defending it. but
No, I know.
It's one thing that you can do.
Yeah.
I hate it for howling. Like if you play songs as a wolf.
Yeah.
That was.
I always got this wrong.
Yeah.
What I did like was talking to the animals. It seems
Yeah.
a bit silly,
It's a
I
bit
guess. But
underused. Like for example, you can talk to Epona, but she doesn't really have anything to say to you except for transform back to Link.
yeah, I agree. I have to see this.
That's a good troll.
Yeah.
One of the things this game actually evolved was hidden skills. At least the hidden skills was something I liked a lot about this game, and something I'd like to see again, because it gives you an artillery and something to do.
It's also nice to have sort of instructions, I guess, of how to do certain moves placed throughout the game rather than stacked up right at the start.
Yeah,
It's less overwhelming, and it's less sort of obtrusive to you just wanting to play the game.
maybe that's where the Poe rewards should be, like getting some of those hidden moves every 10 Poe. Then
Yeah.
One drawback of that was that combat became too easy, maybe.
I don't know. Even if you're just hitting them normally, you only take quarter of a heart or half a heart
Yeah, true.
every time.
Yeah, you can beat the
I
game
think this
without the
game is
skills.
like probably the easiest Zelda game ever. If they would make a hero mode for this, it would be 16 times the damage.
Yeah, probably.
And then you still only lose one heart.
What I did this playthrough was not pick up heart containers the bosses dropped. So I could only get a maximum of 12 hearts. And I did pick up the heart pieces of heart. So it got a little bit harder that way, but still it was way too easy.
You died in the cave audio as well.
Yeah, I went to into the cave of ordeals unprepared, and I died.
But okay,
But that's good.
This is an easy game. It's there's no way to make it hard. Of course, you could run around with 3 hearts, but it's not difficult.
Yeah, I guess this would be a good game to start a 3 heart run.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it would.
What did you think about horseback combat?
I don't know. I thought it was pretty cool. At least from the trailers, where you see all in the horizon, you see like 10 or 12 orcs coming towards you, and you're just gonna go against them. And it was around the time when Lord of the Rings was released, so I thought that was similar.
Yeah.
And I thought it was pretty cool.
But then the final game disappointed, like there are only 3 horse battles in the game, and
Yeah.
they are pretty small.
And they're small in
comparison,
numbers
yeah.
as well. They're just not as epic as they made them see in the trailer. Because I remember sitting like, "Oh wow, this looks awesome! I can't wait to play the game." And when I finally
think
play, I was disappointed.
That's a general impression with the first trailer from the E3 2004. Like everyone was extremely hyped for this game, but the final game couldn't really deliver what was shown in the trailer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess.
No, yeah, I did really enjoy horseback combat. However, it was a little underutilized which I thought was a bit of a shame. It was really only useful in sort of 1 or 2 kind of sequences, or just running around Hyrule Field. But I did really enjoy that little aspect of the game.
Yeah, it was nice. I hope the next game includes it. And I was also glad that they added some scenes, like some sections where you had to use Epona to fight.
Yeah.
Like against the Golden King and things like that.
I thought that was an okay fight as well. At least someone where you have to shoot an arrow and hit him.
Yeah.
You don't even have to hit him. That's just me. You just have to shoot him with an arrow. That was
you can
too
miss,
easy,
doesn't
actually.
matter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now that we're talking about the bow, what did you guys think of the items of the game? Let's ask our item expert, Martin. About that.
There was one cool item, you know, the big chain and ball, but it's so slow if you miss your target. Not that I do, cause I'm a pro, but if I could understand if new players did, I wouldn't recommend them this item to begin with. But I like some of the items, but mostly they're just used for dungeons. You know, the spin blade or whatever it's called, the roller, the spinner. That was so awesome. I thought it was really cool, but it's only used in Arbiter's Ground and for 2 or 3 places outside. Waste of item.
Yeah, because they had some really good original items in this game, so it was a shame that they were underutilized outside of the dungeons they appeared in.
Yeah, so what's your favorite item?
Bow, probably.
Ball and chain, I really liked it. And I didn't mind that this was so slow, because this added a little bit of danger to it.
Losing that quarter heart,
It's a very powerful item, but...
What I wish, how I wish it would have worked was if you spin it around, it also damages the enemies around you.
Yep.
But it doesn't. So.
Yeah, let's make it like the fire rod. That would be awesome.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I'm from A Link Between Worlds.
Okay.
Yeah, make this game even easier.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Max, what's your favorite item?
Oh, I could use that spinner all day. I love that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was awesome. I agree with you. I could stay in Arbiter's Ground. I forgot to save the game before. I remembered, you have to save the game before this fight, because this is the most awesome fight just because of the spinner.
Yeah, it was. It was amazing.
Yeah. I guess something silly for me, but I think the lantern was pretty cool just because it added a lot of nice lights effects.
Yeah. It's a very atmospheric item, I agree. But I hated it in the first trailers, we shown it's this very dark night and very dark forest, and you're running on the outside with a lantern. It was very atmospheric, but it didn't make it into the final game, because the night in the final game is very bright. So you don't really need a lantern outside. You only need it in the dark caves. And,
but the dark caves was actually quite cool. With the lantern, if you didn't have enough oil, they shouldn't leave all those oil things in there. You had a certain time with the lantern instead. I don't know if you guys did it at Lake Hylia. You know, you can go into the cave and you can complete a big cave with the lantern.
I loved it.
Yeah, it was amazing. And there was also traps there, and if you fell in, you had to start all over.
It actually reminded me of the first Zelda, because you have multiple directions you can go into.
Yeah, it was actually a very good design. There's also one outside Kakariko. It's you can enter and do. But I thought that was nice. They were quite cool. Yeah. I didn't pick up the oil, because I felt like I wanted to do it you only have this oil. You have to do it with this.